Hi, I am Molly Sadowski here with eSource Miller interviewing Bryce with Hamilton Beach.
Hamilton Beach commercial.
Commercial. Okay, sorry. Thank you.
No, you're fine.
Apologize. This is my first podcast here. Been with the company for about 2.5 weeks. So, here we go.
Who's counting, right?
Who's counting? It's all normal. But Bryce, thank you for being here at eSource Miller. What brings you here to our culinary center today?
Well, it's been a great week, but mostly the reason for the trip has been to see dealers and customers and talk about some new products that we have out on the market for Hamilton Beach commercial and some training for some new people, but really just kind of myself being new to Hamilton Beach commercial. I've only been there about 7 months, so we're both, we're both new to our roles, but just getting out to be with our rep groups throughout the Western Territory and just making sure that everybody knows who I am and make sure that, I get that opportunity to meet dealers and just see where I can help them sell more and be successful in their territories.
Very nice. What brought you to this side of the industry?
Wow. I've been in the industry, ironically, for about 15 years. And I can be honest with you 100%. When I was, in high school, I didn't even imagine coming into the food service industry. As a kid, my first job at 15 was working in a taco shop. And so that first job was hey, I don't ever want to work in food service ever again. Smelling refried beans that have been sitting out all night was like, okay, I know what I don't want to do. So what got me into the industry was I was a sales rep for a broadliner distributor out of Salt Lake City, Utah, and just really, getting into a national account role, supporting some local and regional chains, selling food. And so with that, I this industry, I always joke with people, once you start in this industry, you never get out. You just change the title on your shirt or you change the role, but it seems like you stay in the food service industry for your entire life. But made a couple of changes after working on the food side, got into some food manufacturing, but really got into equipment just 5 or 6 years ago, and equipment's been the most exciting, I think, part of this industry is just seeing it full circle. I've really enjoyed being on the equipment side.
Oh, that's awesome to hear. Yeah. I'm excited to embark on the equipment side.
Right? Coming really from the food side, right?
Been in food for, I don't know, longer than I'd like to admit, and changing over has been a refreshing adventure so far.
Yeah.
You said you were here kind of showing off some of your new products. What are your new products?
Yeah. So a couple of weeks ago, we just launched our new Belgian Waffle Maker.
I love waffles.
Right.
They're my favorite.
That was a fun thing to get and start learning how to use and testing it. And so our Belgian Waffle Maker it's a great piece of equipment. Our product, the whole reason that we kind of went to market with this is, how do we make operators' lives easier? How do we make product that's got innovative features to it? And so, the industry is full of waffle makers, right? Everybody makes one, everybody's got one. But what really has changed over the last few years, and I think we kind of hit the nail on the head, is that, when those waffle makers sit in your production line, how often do they get cleaned?
Never.
Right. I was joking with a chef the other day, and he goes, "Oh, they get warm enough, they just burn off whatever." It's like, no, that's not
true. Actually,
not true, right? And then I always picture that, get that nasty image of your head of the red bucket with the towel and the sanitizer, and they just go run the rag over it, and you're just going, I don't even want to imagine that's how those things get cleaned. And so, how do we make that just that task alone easier for an operator? And that, I think we nailed it on the, hitting it on the head, is that our plates are now removable.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
And other people do have removable plates, but they require tools. So,
not handy. No one's doing
six tiny little screws and a screwdriver is going to get that plate out for serviceability, which is great because, if it's scratched or the plate just, it doesn't stick anymore. Yeah, you want to be able to change those plates out instead of having to buy a whole new piece of equipment. But really, the game changer was being able to take that plate out with just one push of a button. It's spring loaded, pops in, it locks, and then you just hit that button and it pops back out. But our plates are interesting because, the industry's kind of changed with the Teflon coatings,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so with that, the requirements that are coming out now, like some states have actually banned, Teflon coatings. And
Absolutely.
so anyone that's in our industry that has, that Teflon coating is going through the process of having to switch it out. But the good thing with the launch of this particular product is that it's a ceramic plate, so it's durable, but it's also got a nonstick coating that's PFAS free. So
that's awesome.
It's able to get into those states that have already banned it. In our use and care manual, it suggests to kind of spray on a butter spray or a nonstick spray, but you don't have to. It's just a recommendation, but I got my demo unit at home before I even got home from work that day. The kids had popped out and started playing with it, and they'd started making waffles before I even got home. And someone had said, "Do I need to spray it?" And I'm like, "No, you don't have to spray it." And those waffles are just popping out like crazy. But it's an all stainless steel housing, so what we love in the kitchen is stainless steel, and it's got a drip tray to it as well that's stainless steel
built in.
Removable, so if you accidentally pour too much batter in, it's going to drip over to the side. You just take that plate off and run it through the dish machine, and you're back up and running.
So it's not just a half sheet tray.
No.
Wow.
So
okay.
So I really think that's going to help operators be a little bit more efficient.
Yeah.
But I also think it's going to be one of those that you can sit out on a breakfast buffet or a continental breakfast, and it's just going to add more to operators' menus.
That's awesome. That sounds really, really, and that's what the industry needs, honestly. Yeah. I mean, outside of them not cleaning it, the actuality of them taking the screws out to clean them is not real. So ease for the cook, ease for the dishwasher, or anything along those lines helps every operator across the board.
Well, and food safety too. Like those screws don't get put back in right, or they go missing. You in a kitchen, you wonder where things end up, and you just hope and pray that they don't end up in the food. Right.
Yeah.
So
we don't want that.
Right. But along those same lines, we're also launching a Panini Grill in the same world too. It's going to have a removable plate as well that has a ceramic nonstick coated PFAS-free plate that's dishwasher safe, and that is the same kind of concept. You'll be able to pop those plates in and out for serviceability and cleanliness too. That'll be out in the next 45 days or so, but we're just really excited to have those things to add to our categories, because your familiarity with Hamilton Beach Commercial, everybody kind of looks at us as you've got the market edge on spindle mixers and front of house bar beverage blenders, and we've really had historically been known for those brands and those places in the kitchen, but we're making this kind of concerted effort to kind of move to the back of the house and
Absolutely.
Be more prep back of the house friendly in the new products and launches that we're doing, is to really kind of focus on the back of the house.
I have personally brought in your Immersion blenders to
the BigRig
company,
yeah,
and found them very easy to use. Having the motor come off of
the detachable shaft.
Yeah, that's nice. Really it is.
Yeah, and the nice part about the BigRig with that detachable shaft is that's a sealed shaft, so you don't have to ever worry about like the grease coming out of it. It's if you accidentally dropped it in the sink.
No one would do that.
No,
what are you talking about? That would never happen.
Right. You don't have to worry about it. Like it's a sealed unit, and then the other part of that too as well is that accessory wise, there is a competitor out there that if you wanted the whisk attachment, you're buying another motor.
Yeah.
So having that platform, that base, and being able to have 5 different shaft sizes in a whisk accessory really, I think, allows some versatility for an operator to go, I'm doing a stock pot, now I'm doing a 40-gallon kettle, and I can make those changes real quick. Which
is exactly why we went with you, was the capability of changing them out and the ease, and that our cooks are never going to drop it situation.
The other thing that I like about that BigRig too is the adaptable controls, the capacitive touch, just all within one grip. So I've got 2 points of contact. I'm safely operating, but I can still turn the machine on and off. I can control the speed. But what really stuck out to me, and this is, I don't have a chef background, I don't have a culinary background, more of an operational background, but my mindset goes to when that dial changes a color and it goes to yellow, and I was like, oh, hey, you're about to overheat. That allows an operator to go, oh, I can move on to something else prep wise in the kitchen, let this thing cool down.
Yes.
Or even if it goes to red, it's hey, it's shutting down to cool off. But guess what? You didn't burn the motor out.
Right.
And if it does shut down, you're not questioning whether or not you burnt the motor out or that it went into a lockout mode. It tells you. And so, that whole thing of trying to make an operator's job easier, but also save them money, because, it can be an expensive investment to a mom and pop. But if you know that it's about to overheat, or if you know that it needs to cool down, you're not worried about, burning motors out.
Right.
Which you probably know from doing a big lunch rush or a dinner rush. If something dies, your whole night just gets thrown off.
It just throws the whole Sunday off, because it always happens on a Sunday.
When nothing's open.
Nothing's open. Yeah. It costs double to have a service tech come out to look at it, anything. And you've had 3 cooks call out. So.
Right. Yeah. Perfect storm, right?
It is a perfect storm. You mentioned earlier some of the things that are changing in our industry, like the Teflon.
Yeah.
How is that affecting your innovation in technology and just the different equipment? I know you touched on it with the plates, but anything else?
Well, the one thing that kind of amazed me when I joined Hamilton Beach, and getting to go back east to the corporate offices in Richmond, they take you through a good thinking tour. And that's just really the foundation and the basis for when Hamilton Beach designs something. We go through a rigorous, process of making sure that we've done our due diligence before we launch something into the market. And so when you talk about innovations and when you talk about the technologies that have changed, one that really stuck out to me was we have a lab, and like literally guys wearing lab coats, and they take our equipment before we launch it, before it goes to market, and they test everything on it. So they'll test the motors, they'll test the paddle switches, and we've got devices that will turn that switch on and off 24 hours a day, 365 days a week until it breaks, because that's how we know how things operate. And the one piece of equipment that really stood out to me was is where we test our blender blades, and that's kind of a unique thing. But historically, we would test a blender blade and it would break, and then we would be able to see where it broke and how it broke after it broke. But our lab got a new piece of equipment where they can hook up diodes to it and different things to it to monitor the blade while it's in use, see where the weakness is in the blades, and they can see all the way up to the failure point. And so having that knowledge, it really gives us the ability and the skill set to be able to go and design our blades differently, different alloys, or we twist the blade a certain way, or we mold it a different way. And so what that does is that gives us that understanding of no matter what the operator throws at it, it would be something that, we would be prepared for, and we would know how that blade's going to interact in it. And through those testing processes and those innovations, that's why you see on some of our high performance blenders, we offer lifetime blade replacements.
Oh, that's awesome.
Because we've been able to innovate, and we've been able to understand how a blade's going to react, that we've designed a blade that will last the lifetime of the blender. So
that's incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, with kind of that line of thinking, do you all take into consideration operators' feedback, or frankly the misuse or malfunction of the operator?
We would like to say that we think we know how operators are going to treat the equipment, but you coming from the operational world, how things get treated. But part of that good thinking process is in the early design stages. Like we go through this process of back in the old days, you'd bring people into a room and you kind of do the mirror on the wall and you watch them interact with things. What we get to do now is we get to go out and have people sign up to give feedback. So what we'll do is we'll go through a private third party company, and we'll say, hey, we need chefs in a commercial industry that have got 10 years under their belt, that have worked fine dining, that have worked fast casual. We throw all these qualifiers out, and this service will bring us people, and we will ask them questions anonymously and get their honest feedback. And so that really is the early stages of our design process, where we get that feedback early and often as we go through the different stages of the design. And then when we get to the point of prototypes have actually been made, we will go out and give those prototypes to chefs and go, hey, try this out. Tell us what you think. And, we'll ask the question, like, if money wasn't an issue, how would you make this machine, or what would you fix on this machine? And so we get real life industry experts that have tested and they've put our stuff to the limit. We'll come back and go, hey, perfect example, like on our BigRig, we were the first in the industry to start putting a grip on the shaft. And it was really you'd think about that as a safety feature, and it really is. A chef just goes, hey, my guys don't always glove up.
It's true.
And you put your hand on that, and then that goes into a stock pot, and you're now, all right, that's contaminated. So it's dual purpose. That it serves as a safety feature and a cleanliness feature.
And it's really ergonomical, right?
Yeah.
So that's how, when you're putting it down into a Cambro to a blend, you need that hand there. It really, I enjoyed that feature personally. Yeah. I thought it was really inventive.
Right.
Nice.
And then on some of our culinary blenders, like, the little cup part on the top, that was just an opening to put stuff through. Like if you needed to add more mixes into your blend, it's that kind of stuff. And so a chef goes, hey, can you make that a measuring cup?
It's fantastic. Yes.
Right. And then we're going, well, how do we take that one step further? We put a little hole in the bottom of the measuring cup. So if you're doing an emulsified like salad dressing, you pour that olive oil in, turn your blender on, and it'll slowly drip that oil down, so you get an emulsification over a long process instead of just dumping a full cup of oil in there.
And just hoping it emulsifies.
Right. And so all of those features and all those innovations have come through chefs who said, if I could just have this. And we go, well, that's a no-brainer. Why aren't we doing that? And so we learned a lot of that through that innovation process. And then before it even goes to market, we prototype it again. We go through that analysis again, and we make sure that it looks right and it operates right before it gets out to the market.
I love that piece of information. Yeah. I mean, that in the field testing it has to be a huge process for you all. Yeah. I mean, and some companies could they don't need that. Go past it. But it's what makes your product unique. Yeah.
And we're not afraid. We'd love to launch stuff at NRA or NAFM or the big shows, because that's the world stage, right?
Right.
But we haven't been afraid to go, no, we're not ready. Let's make sure this thing's right before we put it out on the world stage. So, yeah, it might not be the fastest process, and we're not adding a SKU every year, but we're innovating. We're making sure that it's something an operator's going to benefit from.
And you're taking the feedback and really honoring it, which a lot of people don't honor the food industry people. They really don't, which is wild. It's wild. What are some of your top performing concepts, or I guess would be your pieces of equipment? What are your top sellers?
Oh, wow. So I think that if you had to look at kind of our spindle mixers, we've had those around since 1904. That's kind of when we first started business-wise. Our spindle mixers are great. I love those. They're kind of what gives us our name and our brand recognition. And those have been kind of the anchor to our platform. But I think, the BigRig's really become a new popular platform. Our blenders, with our quiet shield technology, is really kind of, taking over, an idea that, like, if we want to blend drinks and we want to have operators that, or customers still in the front of the house, like for a coffee shop or that kind of stuff, those sound quiet technologies have just really changed and disrupted kind of what's out there and what's available to the market. So, I'd love to say all of our categories are growing and thriving and stuff, but I really get excited about the back of the house stuff, because we've had these anchors in the front of the house, like this Belgian Waffle Maker. I think it's a great idea. I think it's going to be awesome. It's going to have a great launch, and that Panini Grill is going to come right after it. And, knock on wood, we've got stuff coming down the pipes that I'm really excited about. Can't talk here about it, but you'll see it. We're hoping to show some new stuff at NRA, but
I look forward to that.
I love sitting on the committees that talk about the stuff that's in the pipeline.
That's awesome.
So I think there's good stuff to come that's going to get really exciting.
I mean, I think you're on track. That Waffle Maker and the Panini Maker press is going to make waves.
Right.
It absolutely is.
Right.
Well, to kind of wrap it up, I am new to this industry. So any advice to me or lovely pieces of information that you think people should know?
And it's one of those where, there's so much in the industry to digest, and it's great to kind of see everything, but I'm one of those kind of hands-on people.
Same.
Like, I want to push the buttons.
I have to touch it.
Yeah.
I play with it.
I got to try and see what it does. I got to take it to its limits. So for any new equipment that you get in front of, it's to play around with it, try it out. Yes. It's funny. The regional managers for Hamilton Beach and our boss, we've got a text chain going about this Belgian Waffle Maker. And the other night gone grocery shopping, and I grabbed a roll of cinnamon rolls.
Ooh.
And my wife's like, what are you grabbing those for? I'm like, I'm going to try them in the waffle maker. So I went home and, I rolled it out to make it really thin. That didn't work. And then I just took 4 of the rolls and put them in each section of it, slapped them down. And my daughter had just gotten home. I said, hey, come over and try this. And I popped them up, and she goes, are those cinnamon rolls? And then you just drizzle it was, and I'm taking pictures and sending it to the team going, hey, check this out. And so now we're competing against each other to see who can come up with really cool waffle ideas.
Sounds like a new sandwich in the making.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
Like tater tots and cheese. And
throw some bacon in there.
It's a good thing you got a kitchen here.
That's a brunch menu item right there.
So
who is selling that?
It's taking equipment and just doing that kind of stuff. If you do that more often, you get excited about what you're selling, and I think people can kind of see that excitement. And it's easier to sell when you've actually used it. Mm-hmm. So I always tell people, go do as much as you can before you talk to your customer, because you're just going to be that much more prepared to talk to your customer.
I am thoroughly looking forward to putting my hands on all the equipment and playing with
Nice.
it. Chef dreams, okay?
Right.
Chef dreams. It's exciting.
Right?
Well, thank you for being here with me and being my first podcast.
Well,
it's fantastic.
Hopefully Tucker can make you and I look great.
I think he will. He doesn't have that much to work on.
Right.
We're good already. Well, I look forward to seeing you the next time you're here.
Well, thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate your time.
Yes, thank you.